So, Slavoj, in your latest book, Pandemic, you note that the pandemic has required extraordinary measures to stabilize the economy. And you describe these measures as war communism, drawing parallels to the economic planning that happened during the Russian Civil War, driven as much by necessity as by ideology. Do you think these pandemic measures will change the fundamental nature of capitalism, or will it actually return to a new state of normal or crisis?
What you said now, Samo, this is what in TV quiz shows they call the $1 million question, you know. So to avoid all misunderstanding, already from the way I describe this communism as war communism, it's clear that I don't have in mind what Marx thought about communism, society of freedom and affluence and so on. I refer here to one of Marx's definitions of communism, which incidentally is almost literally taken from a passage from, I think, Gospel, that says, each according to his needs, from each according to his abilities. Now, this doesn't mean I want a Lamborghini car, I get it, and so on. It means that, and everybody agrees with it. That's why Trump sent checks to tens of millions and so on, that in such an emergency state, the priority is not profit, market mechanisms, and so on, at least for some time. The priority is to control the health situation and to guarantee so that people don't starve and so on a minimum of existence. These things should simply be absolutely prioritized. And I also make it clear that this is not just I sit at home and get what I need. I think maybe if the second wave will be even worse, I'm not afraid to say this, people will proclaim me a totalitarian or what. What if many people will have to be temporarily, not in a Stalinist way, mobilized? For example, I recently read about the troubles in agriculture, harvesting now. In Tennessee, they tested one farms with 200 workers. All of them were positive. Similar in France, mines and slaughterhouses.
So the very mode of production actually has to change then. Like the factory farms and so on, perhaps they just are not viable.
But at the same time, I got my lesson. I was nonetheless kind of a dissident in the last decades of ex-Yugoslavia. I was jobless for 5 years, unemployed, and so on. So I'm well aware that if simply the state centralizes it, you know, it's not simply efficient. Not only this is the ideal space for corruption and so on, but the paradox of these centralized systems is that beneath the surface, they are much more chaotic and disorganized. For example,
they invest all their energy in the appearance of order and the appearance of functionality, which leaves almost no energy for the actual substance and reality of it. Right.
And maybe you know the case I read when, I hope now it's better, when China began to open a month and a half ago. You know what happened in Wuhan? The order came, restart production. But they, in factories, didn't have enough material to do it. Supply didn't work. So it's ironic. In the best old communist way, what they did is they noted through some friends that authorities measure production by how much electricity they spend for
and how much power is consumed. So they let the machines run through the night.
The machine doing nothing. You see, that's the problem. So it's not true that in liberal democracies you have freedom but chaos. Under totalitarianism you have order and so on. I read a good economic history of Soviet Union, where they claim that in Brezhnev era, beneath the surface of plan economically, it was a big chaos. A factory, you have to use links, bribe to get the material, you falsified statistics all the time. So I'm not simply saying, let's return to that type of communism. I'm not crazy, it's inefficient. All I'm saying is that in some sense, at certain levels, decisions will have to be taken how to reorient production and so on, and things will have to be prioritized, but this cannot be done simply through market mechanisms.